said you wanted to see it, right?
Yeah, it's the one with Will Smith in it, I think.
Why do you want to see it?
Because I saw the trailers, and I like sci-fi. Well, it has the parental, father-son kind of catch to it. With the added element of the sci-fi, I think it would be cool.
Do you know who made it?
No.
That's okay.
Should I know who made it?
Nobody knows.
Oh.
Well, I know, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Did you get what you expected?
I wasn't expecting much. No, I didn't get much.
Was it bad?
I got less than I expected.
Was it enjoyable in the least?
You know, I can't honestly say that I enjoyed it. That's one of the worst shows I've ever seen, and my standards aren't very high.
What did you call After Earth again? What was that joke you made?
I said it seemed more like Afterbirth. It was just like this little piece of gauze that's supposed to keep them in a spaceship.
And nobody put on their harness except for one person.
Yeah.
And the only person to survive that didn't. Did you think, because when he put Jaden Smith into the harness and was like, be calm, right? Then he got sucked out of the spaceship,
Yeah.
right? And then why was he in the spaceship after?
I know, that made no sense. Like, even construction workers have that. Like, they have a carabiner thing where they're strapped in. You can do that on a spaceship after Earth, like in that day and age, you would think, right? The technology and the spaceship, the medical stuff, it looked really out of place and weird. Soap operas. People that are playing their part, they act in the role of that person. So you act like a nurse and you know what you're doing. So they didn't look like they knew what they were doing.
The entire crew on the ship was ridiculous. Thank you, by the way. The entire crew on the ship was ridiculous, and the one guy that was trying to intimidate Jaden Smith did not look like he belonged there, and I didn't even fully understand why they were going anywhere. They were trying to do training for ghosting, and yet every single person on the ship looked extremely irresponsible and was like, why don't you go closer to this thing that we have captive so we can smell your fear?
They had this whole ranger training thing, and yet the people, like you say, the people that were on the ship on this mission, who were supposed to be rangers, looked like they were tough guy hooligans rather than starship personnel.
They looked like they were bad actors. They had the breathing apparatus attached to them, but there was absolutely nothing that it was attached to. It was literally its own thing. It was like an oxygen mask, but it wasn't attached to anything. But they couldn't leave the ship with it, so they had to use something else to breathe. I don't understand, if that wasn't attached to anything, why couldn't they have brought it out of the ship? Because it would have had to have been some sort of air filtration thing. Because it wasn't attached to anything. There was no oxygen coming from it.
It didn't show how he broke his little disc inhaler things.
I know, it was inside his suit, and apparently because it was made out of gauze, it was just so fragile that there's no point keeping it inside your suit.
Where did that thing go when he was running?
When Will Smith is like, why don't you get some rest, and then it cuts to a different angle and Will Smith is already asleep, but you can tell that it wasn't supposed to be later in the film because the white noise in the background didn't clip or anything. He was just already asleep. The guy trying to scare Jaden Smith, and he's telling him like, oh, your fear will attract this animal, blah, 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 trying to intimidate him. And on the close shots, his arms are up, and then in the background, his arms are down. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of continuity things, right? Mm-hmm. It was just
poorly directed. There was at least one aspect in every scene that was preventing it from being something good. Will Smith could have been delivering a decent performance had he not had that stupid accent, and had he not...
I thought that the boy, that it was apparent with him...
No, yeah, Jaden Smith could not pull off the accent, whatever the accent was trying to be.
I thought maybe he was a young man with a speech impediment. No, seriously, I thought that's how they wanted this character to be, that, he's small for his age. He has some difficulties
Disability.
to overcome or to conquer. And so I thought that was part of it. I thought maybe he had a speech impediment.
And then Will Smith started talking like that too. Will Smith looked bored the entire movie.
Yeah, he did.
Did it bother you as much as it bothered me how Jaden Smith did not know how to run?
He was trying to make it look like he knew how to run, and you do see guys doing that. They're doing their
He was
power
imitating
running.
what he thought he was supposed to do.
Yeah, he wasn't a runner, and yet they had a lot of emphasis on his running. Yeah, it just showed this young little boy scampering around on rocks for most of the show. That was it. Not a lot of personal development of the character, which that's what the show should have been all about, right? And it wasn't. He just basically rebelled and told his dad off.
He rebelled against the advice of the only person on the planet in civilization that's ever been able to ghost, that's ever been able to fight back against these monsters and survived against a whole war, and he's saying, I'm not going to listen to your advice.
They took what could have been a simple story that had some merit, and they even dumbed it down, like, and made it just bad. I was disappointed. Can you tell?
Did you notice how when Will Smith was telling Jaden Smith that there's something following him, and it showed one dot on the radar for the whole, like, at least 2 miles?
Yeah, and then
It showed
there's,
one
like,
dot,
more.
and then he's like, don't aggravate it. And so Jaden Smith's like, screw you, I'm gonna do what I want and not listen to you, and throws a rock at it. And then all of a sudden there's like 20 of them that come out from the bushes, like right there.
They were bouncing and jumping and running. And so how's this little boy on 2 legs supposed to outrun a pack of orangutans?
How come none of the other 20-some orangutans showed up on the radar when he told them that they were following him?
That made no sense.
Can you explain why the bird saved him from the cold?
Yeah,
Why?
because the bird, it made it look like the bird was attacking him for food or something at the start when he was flying. And then when he woke up in the nest with all the hatchlings, and they were playing with him, I think the bird accepted him as one of her chicks. I think that they were trying to, and it was not done well, but they were trying to get the viewers to see a parallel between the mother bird's behavior and how she still protected the one remaining offspring who didn't save the other ones in the nest. So comparing that to Will Smith as a parent, not being able to save his daughter, but should still have a protective relationship with the one remaining one.
Regardless of what the bird's intentions were, it sort of just circled around in the sky out of distance, following him around until he got cold and passed out, and then saved him.
Yeah, and then died.
Yeah, like, why did the bird die?
Yeah.
The bird died from the cold? Did the bird die from the cold? Why was the bird dead?
Yeah, because the bird could have flown somewhere else. I don't know. I couldn't figure out why the bird died either.
It was so that you could feel sad and also know that it was the bird that did it. Every single thing that happened in the movie was exactly the way you'd expect it to end from the first 10 minutes of the film. As soon as they introduced I'm the only one that can ghost, and Jaden Smith is going to be alone on the planet, and I'm going to have broken legs elsewhere, you immediately think, okay, so Jaden Smith's going to learn how to ghost by the end of this movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's
And as soon as they introduce this creature's on our ship, and there's only a 1 in 99 chance that it's actually escaped from the pod, it's probably still safe. Immediately, once they say that at the very beginning of the movie, you think,
yeah, you know that.
yeah, it's definitely escaped.
Yeah, of course. And seeing other crew members hanging from a tree Come on. Don't you think that was a little too much?
It was retarded.
Yeah.
It was a bad movie.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, he couldn't send out the beacon because of the cloud of magnetic field coming from the volcano, and then he went to the top of the volcano where it was the closest to the cloud, and then he was able to set it off. Does that make sense?
That makes no sense at all.
If there was a magnetic cloud that was preventing him from being able to use the beacon caused by the volcano, then why above the cloud? He went closer to the cloud and then it worked. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, there is, some people would say that the periphery, that's where the fallout pollution or intense.
That would be a tornado.
No, not just a tornado, but with other
A cloud of smoke coming from the volcano, though? That's what they said that it was, right?
It was absolutely ridiculous. What about the toxins that come out from the volcano? Like, you're not supposed to be able to breathe volcanic air because there's sulfur something. It's a chemical in the air.
Yeah, it is.
It's toxic. Like, you're not supposed to be breathing volcanic air at all.
I don't know why they didn't bring it out of the spaceship, because it wasn't attached to anything, so I assumed that it was filtering the air. But instead, they decided that they needed to add some tension by having little capsules that only worked for a specific period of time. How many times in the movie did Jaden Smith either fall asleep or get knocked out?
Well, at least once a day, and the movie took place over 5 days.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be about 5 times or more. That got really repetitive. What I found really hilarious was mostly Jaden Smith's acting. I found it hilarious when he was about to jump off the cliff and he had those awkward pauses in his emotional breakdown and he was crying and it was really poorly delivered. I thought it was funny when he was trying to be emotional when he had that ridiculous flashback of his sister for no reason when he fell asleep on the log in the river and he was screaming at her. I found that hilarious. I found it funny when Jaden Smith climbed through the top of the hole on top of the volcano, and as soon as he gets out, he's stumbling around and he's making these grunting noises to try and make it seem like he was just exerting himself, but it was so forced and fake that it was like it was ridiculous.